All right, let's jump right in. We're going to break down the latest official dietary guidelines for Indians. Think of this as your simple, no nonsense guide to turning all that official advice into real, actionable steps you can take, maybe even starting with your very next meal.
So you might be wondering, why the new guidelines now? What's the big deal? Well, it's because India is facing a really unique and kind of complicated health challenge. The way we're eating is having a massive, massive impact across the country, and it's clear something needs to change. Let's kick things off with a number that, well, it really grabs your attention. 56.7%. According to the National Nutrition Monitoring Bureau, that is the national average for abdominal obesity. We're talking more than half the population. It's a huge red flag that lifestyle diseases are really taking hold. And here's where that paradox comes in. Experts call it the double burden. See, on one hand, the country is still battling undernutrition, people not getting enough essential nutrients. But at the exact same time, you've got this explosion in overweight and obesity, which is driving up rates of things like type 2 diabetes. It's a tough problem to solve.
Okay, so we've got this double burden. What's the solution? Well, the new guidelines offer a really simple, really powerful answer. And it all starts with rethinking the most basic thing of all. What's on your plate?
This is the million-dollar question, isn't it? If you forget all the complicated diets and calorie counting for a second, what does a genuinely healthy plate of food look like, according to the people who study this stuff for a living?
And here it is. This is basically the star of the show. It's a concept called My Plate for the Day. It's not a strict rule book, it's a visual guide. Super simple, super intuitive, designed to help you build a better meal without having to overthink it.
Now, if you remember just one thing from our chat today, let it be this. The number one most important rule. Half of your plate should be vegetables and fruits. That's it. It's such a simple idea, but it can make an absolutely massive difference.
Now, this is really interesting. It's not just what we eat, but where our energy comes from. So the guidelines suggest getting about 45% of your energy from cereals and millets. Then you've got about 15% from pulses, meat, and eggs. And notice this, your total fat intake should be at or below 30%. This chart just makes that balance so much clearer.
Okay, so we've seen the ideal plate. That's the what. Now let's get into the how. How do we actually start building this into our daily routine and get that balance right day in and day out?
First things first, what do we even mean by a balanced diet? Because it's not about finding one magical superfood, right? Nope, it's all about variety. It means getting all the nutrients your body needs by picking and choosing a mix of different foods from all the different food groups. Variety is everything. To make this a little more real, here's a practical example for a sedentary adult. So for a 65-kilo man, we're looking at about 260 grams of cereals and 85 grams of pulses. For a 55-kilo woman, it's a bit less. But look, for both, it's 200 grams of veggies and 100 grams of fruit. It gives you a real, tangible target to aim for. Of course, a healthy diet doesn't exist in a bubble. The guidelines are super clear that our other choices, our lifestyle, plays a huge role in our health. It's got to be about more than just what's on the plate. And here's one of the easiest wins, making simple, healthy swaps. So instead of grabbing that deep-fried samosa, why not try something like sprouted grains? You're basically switching out empty calories for something that's packed with nutrients and fiber. Small change, big upgrade. Another really powerful tool they want us to use is right there in the grocery store. It's time to become a label detective. Seriously, learning to read food labels is a critical skill for figuring out what you're really eating when it comes in a package. And it's actually pretty easy. Here's a quick 3-step guide. 1, always check the serving size. Those nutrition facts might be for a much smaller portion than you think. 2, look for the things you want less of, like added sugars and sodium. And 3, this one's for safety, always check that expiry date. And you can't talk about eating well without talking about moving well, right? The guidelines give a special shout out to yoga, and not just as exercise, but as a whole package, something that brings together movement, breathing, and even meditation for both your physical and mental health. Oh, and don't forget this one, hydration. The goal is around 2 liters or about 8 glasses of water a day. And if you want some flavor, go for things like buttermilk or fresh lemon water. The main thing is to steer clear of sugary soft drinks and packaged juices. They're just loaded with empty calories. So after all that, the labels, the yoga, the water, we come right back to where we started. It all comes back to your plate. The most empowering message here is that you don't need to completely change your life overnight. Small, consistent changes can have a truly massive impact on your health. So I'll leave you with this question, because this isn't just about information, it's about action. Looking at how you eat now, what is one simple swap, one small change you can promise yourself you'll make on your plate tomorrow?